you have an intro, or you want me to just,
I can intro, because right now, I suspect, though you can't hear it, the audience will hear some of the finest public domain Viking-sounding music I could find. Because this is Words About Books, and I am Ben, and you are Nate, and today, we're talking about another Norse myth.
Oh my god, that's number 3! Now
It's
we get a
3.
free Sunday.
You gotta do 5, and then you get a free Sunday.
God damn it, man. They're always changing the rules on you.
So we're going to do a little different this time. The previous times we've kind of struggled with how to cover these. I decided...
Speak for yourself. I played Odin. I did a pretty good job, if I say so myself.
I'm going to draw inspiration from 2 sources this time. The Poetic Edda, as translated by Jackson Crawford, and Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Now, Neil Gaiman's whole thing with Norse mythology, which is a book I kind of recommend, it's not like the actual myths, but it's his narrative retelling of them, and he gets all the important details right. He encourages people to, like, read this to their children and, you know, put your own spin on it or whatever. So I had this thought. I was like, you know what? Why don't I just tell you my own version of the myth?
Oh my god.
So I'm just going to tell you the story of the myth we're covering is Thrymskvitha.
Are you sure that's how
Thrym's
you...
poem.
Okay. Alright. You got it. I see what you did.
Yeah. And that probably won't be the title of the episode, because I think that's part of the reason these are not maybe as accessible. But
Thor's cross-dressing adventure. Dude, where's my Mjolnir?
this is where Thor is serving up some serious realness and giving a drag outfit that will slay, possibly literally. So Nate, this is just for you. I dedicate this to you.
Oh my god. Thank you.
On a particular morning, Thor awoke and felt that something wasn't quite right.
I feel that way
He rolled...
pretty often. Oh, sorry. I thought...
No, please, interrupt as you want.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know, the robot chicken sketch. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you see? It's your morning wood.
When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you see? It's your morning wood.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. What's this? What's going on?
Okay, so he rolls to his left, and he sees his beautiful wife, Sif. She's laying there, still sleeping peacefully, and as he does every morning, he then rolled to his right.
To the more important bedmate.
Yes, where his hammer Mjolnir usually sleeps. Only this time, there was just a hammer-shaped indent on the pillow.
Oh my god!
Thor immediately leaps up. He tosses the bed and Sif out of the way. He smashes all the furniture in the room to pieces with his bare goddamn hands. But the hammer is nowhere to be found. And then he screams, he falls to his knees, and he screams in rage.
So just another Wednesday morning for Thor. That's what it sounds like.
He tears a fistful of bright red hair from his head, and then another fistful
red?
from his beard.
Whoa!
Thor has red hair.
Oh my
god!
god!
That is canonical.
Oh
Yeah.
my... Why did Disney change that to blonde?
Wait till we talk about Greek myth.
Oh my god.
So, there's something you need to know about Mjolnir. A few things, really, in case you
It's a tender lover, and...
aren't read up. So, Mjolnir is a hammer. A battle hammer.
Yep. Following you so far.
It is legendary, magical, crafted by the greatest dwarven smiths, Brock and Atri. And Mjolnir has certain powers.
Yeah, it calls when you summon it, and gives you the power of Thor, if you so deserve it. It shoots lightning, and you can throw it and ride it into the sky.
Those are not some of its powers, but it can shrink and grow on command.
Oh my god.
Such that Thor could wear it as a necklace if he ever had to hide that he was carrying.
Does he grow it in size to fight the world serpent?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I mean, I think it grows to like the size of a
that.
one-handed hammer. That's like...
Well, there's his problem. Should have grown it even larger. But, alright.
In addition to that, whenever he throws the hammer, whatever he throws it at, it will hit.
Oh, so it's like Odin's spear that always hit, except Thor's got one too, and his is way cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Suck it, Odin.
Yep. And it does return to Thor's hand. That is actually one thing Disney got right.
Ooh. So he just puts his hand out, and he summons the hammer to him, problem solved.
That's not working right now.
But why?
But there's one more important thing you need to know about Mjolnir. And that is that whenever Thor hits with Mjolnir, it really never rises up to trouble the gods again. Thor and Mjolnir are kind of what makes this whole wacky family stay in power. You know, whenever they dig themselves in real deep, Thor can always dig them out with that hammer.
Like when that guy wants to marry Freya, was it?
Uh-huh.
And he successfully bamboozles them, so he's like, all right, I get to marry her now, right? And then they just point at him and say, get him! Thor leaps into action, brutalizes this poor, innocent, what was he, a giant or something?
Yes, he was a Jotun.
Poor bastard.
Yes, so keep that in mind. That story may have some parallels.
Ooh. So now Thor is also, like, really fucking strong and buff, though, too, right? Like, it's not just his hammer.
Yeah, no, he's really strong on his own. He also has a magical belt that doubles his strength.
Holds his pants up? Oh, okay.
Doubles his strength because his pants are up. So
there you go. He never has to worry about them falling down, so he can always throw his full force into every punch. So is the belt gone?
No, the belt's still there. Just Mjolnir. But
okay.
Mjolnir is like, it is the treasure that protects all the other treasures. If the gods don't have Mjolnir, their family is at a severe disadvantage. So they gotta get that back.
Probably with violence.
Possibly with violence, but you might be surprised. So Thor knows there's only one person in all of Asgard crafty enough and clever enough to find anything that was lost, no matter where it is. And even he can't deny Thor this time. Not with Mjolnir at stake.
But does he deny him?
No, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Thor runs into, of course, Loki's chamber.
So this is pre-Loki getting drunk at a party and then being imprisoned with venom dripping on him forever.
Yeah, they don't go in chronological order.
Okay. Neither did we, so works out.
Thor runs into Loki's chamber and he's like, Loki, we're in trouble. Someone stole Mjolnir. And Loki sits there calmly and he takes like 3 long gulps of his morning ale. And then he sets down his horn.
He says it wasn't me.
Wipes his moustache.
His moustache? Does he have a moustache?
He has a beard. Everybody has a beard.
Well,
and he says, I'm going to need 2 things. First, I need Freya's feather suit. Second, I need a cup of strong coffee. I had a feeling you might ask this question.
Okay. So this is a pre-established thing you're about to tell
Not
me.
at all.
Oh, okay.
First mention of it as far as I know. Maybe only mention of it. So Freya has what is called a feather suit. Possibly could translate it as feather dress or like feather clothing.
Okay.
And difficult to conceive of exactly what was meant by that. I have seen
like a feather pillow that you wear on your body.
Yeah, so I've seen people depict it as wings. I've seen people depict it...
The most attractive thing a woman can wear is a chicken suit with wings.
I've seen people depict it as like a cloak or something, but I choose, personally, to picture it as like one of those squirrel suits, like the flying squirrel suits that guys in Red Bull commercials wear. The point is, it makes you fly.
I can't not think of the fucking chicken dance song now.
Well, we all picture the myth differently, you know?
So Loki's got some strong coffee, and is this thing of Freya's, like, does she care about it? Does Thor just like, hey, I need that? And she's like, cool.
So they run over there and they're like, hey, Freya, we need your magical feather suit. And Freya's like, what? Why? A, she points at Loki and she's like, can't you turn into a bird? And then B, she points at Thor and she's like, Don't you have 2 flying goats? She doesn't say that in the myth, but she says that in my story.
Interesting. He's got flying goats. That sounds
He's got
pretty
flying
fucking
goats.
awesome. Why don't we hear more about flying goats in the myth?
I'll tell you more about those. They have names.
They better.
They're something like a tooth.
Thorin and Oakenshield.
No, they're very complicated names. But they mean something like tooth shower and tooth gnasher.
Oh.
Like tooth snarler and tooth biter. So that's fun. Loki, he's like, damn it, woman, there's no time to discuss the canon. Someone has stolen Mjolnir. And Freya's like, oh my god, why wouldn't you start with that? I'd give this suit to you even if it was made of gold and silver, as opposed to these worthless magic feathers. And that's the line in the actual poem, by the way. I'd give it to you even if it was made of gold and silver.
Okay.
As opposed to being made of magical materials that allow one to fly.
That's cool, I guess. I would rather personally fly, but gold and silver is cool too, I guess.
Magic feather suits all over Asgard. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got a magic feather suit.
Well, did Loki start asking questions like a jackass? Like, oh, well, would you give it to me if it were made of platinum? Would you give it to me if they were 2 suits? What if it were covered in strawberries? Like, did he just start getting zanier and wackier like a depraved Sam I Am?
No, though I'll keep that in mind for my next version of this story. No,
Okay.
So Loki's playing this one pretty straight.
Oh my god. So he realizes, like, shit got real. It's like being a mob family and someone took all your guns, right?
Yeah, there's a little background about Freya that might be helpful here. I've heard some interpretations of this line say that, like, Freya's really trying to, like, stress her cooperation here because Freya is actually a hostage.
Oh.
She is one of the defeated Vanir gods who lives with the Aesir.
You told me about that.
Yeah, so some people have said maybe she says, like, even if it were made of gold and silver, to, like, try to, like, play up how much she cares about the safety of Asgard.
Okay. So when that guy that Jotun comes along in the other story and he's like, I get to marry Freya now, why weren't they just like, okay, bye, she's not even one of us? I guess she has value as a hostage, I guess.
Yeah, they still like Freya.
And she's like really hot, man, I assume. I don't know.
That's actually the biggest thing is, like, Freya is canonically the hottest woman possible.
Oh my god.
Whatever your version of that is in your mind, that's what Freya is.
I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna say anything more.
If in your mind Freya just shows up wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog fursuit, that's what it is.
Jesus. Is that when the gods are like, yeah, we've failed as a species, and they just voluntarily
Ragnarok
start the Ragnarok
again.
Yep. All right, so Loki's playing this straight, and Freya is giving her feather cloak, even though it is not made of silver and gold. It's just a regular shitty feather suit.
Yeah, just a regular shitty magical feather suit that grants one the power of flight. And at a pretty great speed, too, because, like, smash cut, Loki is flying into Jotunheim. And as he approaches Jotunheim, he spots, rather conspicuously perched atop a hill, a certain Jotun, whom Loki recognizes as Thrym.
Not Thrym.
Now, Thrym is a king among the Jotun, and he's sort of showing off his wealth here on this hill. He's putting gold collars on his dogs. He's combing out the manes of his ridiculously beautiful horses. And he calls out to Loki. He's like, "Hail, Loki! What news from the gods and elves? What brings you to Jotunheim?"
Oh my god. Loki found someone who actually likes him?
Well,
what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah. He's like, "What brings you to Jotunheim all on your own?" And Loki's just like, "Oh, it's It's all bad, man. The gods, they're in a panic. The elves are burning their lembas bread or whatever. It's not really clear what an elf is in any of these stories.
What? Okay.
But hey, now that I think about it, you seem like maybe you were waiting for somebody to come this way. You wouldn't happen to know anything about Thor's stolen hammer, would you? And Thrym kind of smiles.
Music suddenly change and the scenery gets dark and he just starts laughing.
You know, Loki, they say you're a bit of a trickster, and well, it just so happens I'm something of a trickster myself. It just so happens that I did, in fact, steal Thor's hammer. First, I climbed the walls around Asgard. Then, I threw a grappling hook through Thor's window. Then, I climbed in and took the hammer, and then I made a hasty retreat before anyone noticed.
Oh, was it really that easy? Shit.
And Loki's like, I really can't tell if you're being sarcastic. This is kind of important.
How did Thor not, like, wake up when a fucking grappling hook went through his window?
I'm going to be real with you. In the actual myth, right? They don't say how he did it.
Oh my god.
But, like, how did he do it? That's what I'm trying to imagine. Yeah. Like, how did he get in? Okay, because presumably, like, Thor doesn't actually sleep with Mjolnir on a pillow. He probably sleeps with it, like, on a chain around his neck in
I was
small
going to say
form or
tucked
something.
between his legs.
Could be.
He spoons Mjolnir every night. Obviously. That's what I would do.
Someone had to go into Thor's home while he slept and take Mjolnir. And apparently this person was Thrym, who was just like, yeah, I'm just going to do that today. That's what I'm going to do today. And so he's not being sarcastic. He did somehow, like, Mission Impossible his way into Thor's house and steal his hammer. And he's like, tell you what, Loki, I have hidden Mjolnir 8 miles below the earth. And if you ever want to see it again, then you'll give me what I want.
And then Loki is just like, oh, is that it? Okay, cool. I'll just go down there and grab it. 8 miles? That's not too far.
Not right below this earth. I hid it somewhere 8 miles below the earth.
Oh.
You'll never find it without my help.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kick you in the dick and then slam your head repeatedly into the ground until you tell me. And if you don't, I'm going to start removing body parts. So let's do this.
Well, Loki takes a different approach. He asks the giant, "What do you want?" To which the giant responds with a somewhat frequent request in these mythoses, these mythologies, these poems. I want the beautiful Freya to be my bride.
God damn it.
And Loki's
All
like,
right,
well,
we're going to go get the Sonic the Hedgehog fursuit. We'll be right back.
Well, I'll see what I can do. And then he flies back to Asgard, and Thor's waiting for him. And this part is in the actual myth. He's like, stay up there, Loki. Don't you land. Because if you land, like, people who lie down tell lies. Like, if you sit down, you're going to have time to think of something. I just need you, while you're in the air up there, just please, for the love of Christ, tell me if you have found any news of my hammer.
And Loki could not think of a lie while Thor was telling him that, so he had to tell the truth.
Right. He's in the air. He has to tell the truth. So
damn. No wonder they hate their shitty wingsuits. It's also a truth serum that you wear.
A sky law. If you're in the air, you got to tell the truth. That's why so many arguments happen on planes.
So is that why he borrowed it? So he could fly to Jotunheim?
Yeah.
Oh.
Even though there's like a million ways for him to get
I was
to
going to say, there
Jotunheim,
weren't other ways he could just, like, go there?
It's the dream logic of mythology.
Okay.
Also, probably somebody, one of the skalds back in the day was like, what if Freya had a feather suit? Yeah. What if Freya had I'm going to add that. I think Freya has wings. My hot Freya has wings.
Yeah. I find the chicken to be the most majestic animal of them all.
I found the chicken to be the most arousing of the birds.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah. That's canon now. That's now canon to our mythology.
Loki calls down to Thor and he says, your hammer was stolen by Thrym.
All right, let's go kick his ass.
He's hidden it away. No one will ever find it unless we give him Freya as his bride.
Okay. So here's the plan. Freya marries him. He gives us the hammer. And then we proceed to systematically tear him and his entire kingdom down at the molecular level using said hammer.
So Thor immediately runs off in the direction of Freya. He's like, Freya, put on your wedding dress. We're going to Jotunheim.
And she's like, God damn it, this is like the 10th time this week. Literally. Like, every day and then some with this shit.
You have to marry some guy named Thrym to get my hammer back, and I know you're willing to do it because you already said you'd give us this, even if it were made of silver and gold. So just put on your wedding dress. We're going to Jotunheim. And Freya snorts so hard that the shockwave rattles every building in Asgard, and even the jewels of her famous necklace, Brisingamen, shook.
Oh my god. Okay.
And Freya's like, are you actually fucking insane? What sort of woman do you take me for? Do you know what people would say if I went into Jotunheim with you to marry some rando for a hammer?
I thought it was like the
Absolutely
king.
not.
Okay, alright, well...
Absolutely not.
Counterpoint, I don't care what people think about you, so like...
Get wrecked. The gods all have a conference, right? And they're talking for a long time about various plans to get the hammer back. You know, we could go in there by force, beat him up, but, you know, if they kill him, then they'll never find the hammer. And, you know, what if he doesn't talk under torture? What if he doesn't break?
Well, I mean, then we just keep torturing him, right? I mean, you can always just do more torture.
Yeah, you can, but we don't have the luxury of time.
Oh, because of all the people we pissed off? Oh.
Yes, because we constantly scam everyone we meet.
That is unfortunate, yes.
And we all rely on them not being able to do anything about it because Thor is an unstoppable brick shithouse with his fucking hammer. But now we don't have it. So the gods are talking. They're trying to come up with plans. You know, Thor's sitting there like, what if we just build a giant hammer or like some kind of shovel-shaped hammer, and we just dig up all the land 8 miles deep, and we just run it along.
You're just like, God
and
damn
then we'll
it,
eventually
Thor,
find
building a hammer is always your fucking solution. It never works.
And so Heimdall, the most beautiful of all the man gods.
Ooh.
Till Balder, I guess.
Oh. Well, he's dead. Or not born yet, but will die. Who knows?
But, you know, Heimdall, he comes up with a brilliant plan. And again, it's weird that nobody asked Heimdall initially what they should do, because
wait, can
Heimdall,
he see everything just like in Disney?
He can see the future.
Sounds like a good guy to have just tell you how to win.
Yeah. So Heimdall's like, so here's what we do, right? We put Thor in that wedding dress. We put Freya's very famous necklace that everybody knows about.
Right.
Brisingamen. We put that on him so that like name. Only... Yeah. Okay. Everything has a name. So we put that on Thor. Only she would ever wear that. So like Thor will look like Freya then, probably. And then like we hang some... Look like Freya? We hang some keys from his belt. Because women used to wear that.
Fucking buff?
You know, we'll pad for that. Like we'll do hip pads, and maybe we can get him a veil or something, cover that beard.
Perfect. Yep. You obviously don't shave. Absolutely not. That's like a crime against all the gods in the universe. Let's just like cover it up.
So Freya is like, oh, I like this plan much more.
Have an N95 mask, perhaps. We could just...
So Thor is like, absolutely not. What kind of man do you take me for? Do you know what people would say if I went into Jotunheim wearing a dress? And Loki's like, shut up, Thor. Unless you have a better way to get this hammer back, that it is not a giant hammer shovel, then this is the best plan we got.
Can we at least ask Heimdall... what does the future look like if we build a giant hammer shovel?
He's like, we will be bankrupt in months. So it came to pass that the great and powerful Thor, protector of humanity, slayer of giants, champion of the gods, was placed into the most beautiful wedding dress they had in Asgard. Freya hung her famous necklace that everyone knows about.
Say yes to the dress, Asgard edition.
So Freya hangs her very famous necklace on him.
That everyone knows about.
That everyone knows about.
Obviously. That's old news, Ben. We all know about that necklace that is so very famous. It's not even worth mentioning because everyone knows.
And Thor's rage grows. And then Thor's wife Sif comes in.
And she's like, is it weird that I'm into this? Because I'm kind of into this.
Of course you'll have to carry the keys as well, because every woman carries the household keys.
Oh, okay.
And so she that's a tradition. So she hangs her keys, Thor's own household keys, on his belt.
in a little fanny pack, right?
And then Thor's rage grew.
Is this part of the myth? Thor's rage just keeps growing and growing?
I'm embellishing a little, but yeah. And then Heimdall insisted on doing makeup despite the veil. And he did comment that Thor had beautiful cheekbones and he should always paint to accentuate them.
That sounds like it came straight from the myth.
And Thor's rage grew, but he was also in agreement that he did have excellent cheekbones. And then Loki transformed himself into a humble serving girl, because Loki remembered he could transform.
God, it would be awesome if, Loki could transform into Freya and... No?
Yeah, he
no?
probably could have done that. Yeah, he probably could have done that.
I guess we're already in the wedding dress and the makeup, so we might as well go with this plan of cross-dressing. But maybe next time, remember, you can change, okay?
You know what? For the sake of the story, that's what Loki says. He's like, I just remembered as I turned into this humble serving girl to accompany you, I probably could have just turned into Freya. Oh, well. And then Thor's rage grew.
Urge to kill rising.
And Thor's rage grew.
Thor hitched his goats to a wagon.
Okay.
And
all right.
Drove for Jotunheim. And such was Thor's fury as he drove that mountains crumbled to dust as he roared past. Sparks from his wheels caused the ground to burst into flame.
There used to be 9 continents on the planet, but then Thor had to wear a dress and go to Jotunheim, so sorry.
Loki barely manages to convince Thor to slow down once they're close. They can see Thrym's Hall in the distance, and they exit the wagon, and they enter into Thrym's Hall, and the room goes silent.
Oh, it's me, Freya! I assume he just doesn't talk, because it's going to be really fucking obvious.
No, you should do that. You should do that. Give me that. Give me that line.
Hey, Thrym, it's me, Freya!
And then Thrym, king of the Jotun, spoke. Stand up, giants! My bride, Freya, daughter of Njorth, has arrived. Bring her to me. And then Thor and Loki approach, and as they approach, Thrym's kind of trying to get his groove on. He's whispering like soft words of romance, and he's like,
he's also doing the
yeah.
He's wearing like reflective pants. He's got porn music in the background. You like that? You like that? Yeah.
I'll let you be Thor. You could just say whatever comes to mind. So Thrym's like, I'm a great king of men, and I've won many battles. I have many treasures.
So big and strong.
The only thing I've lacked is someone to share it with. And it had to be you, Freya, for they say that you alone among all women have that boom that shake the room.
Boom that shake the room. Yes, that is what I'm known for. That and my jewels that everyone knows about, and my flying suit.
and then Thrym Thor shoulders past Thrym and takes his seat at the table. Loki quickly interjects and says, she's quite tired from the journey, my lord. Oh, she's just so excited to see you.
I had to destroy 2 continents to get here.
And then Thrym turns around to see his bride chugging literally an entire keg of ale. And Loki's like, and she's quite thirsty. We didn't have much on the ride over. And then over the next several hours, the wedding feast progresses. Thor and Loki are just kind of trying to blend in. Thor winds up eating literally an entire ox. That's in the poem. 8 salmon.
Thor's a fucking man.
Well, and then he ate like 12 trays of sweet cakes that were typically reserved for women.
Well, when in Rome, am I right?
Thrym is somewhat perplexed by this. And, he's like, I've never seen a woman who eats like this.
That's because I'm everyone's fantasy, and this is your fantasy, big boy. Mwah.
And then, noticing the accumulation of several more kegs of ale at Thor's feet, he commented, or drinks like this. And Loki's like, oh, well, you have to understand, my lord, that the Lady Freya was so excited to come to Jotunheim that she could not eat for 8 days. So she's probably, very hungry for some reason. Thrym walks over to his bride and lifts her veil, hoping for a kiss.
Ah, hell no, fool!
But then he leaps back, and he's like, those eyes, they were like 2 burning pits, so fierce and grim. It was as if she wanted to murder me. And Loki holds up his head, and he's...
That's my sexy look.
It's simply another misunderstanding, my lord. You see, Freya, she was so eager for this wedding night that she hasn't slept in 8 nights, and so there might be some, some puffiness.
Is 8 nights? Is 8 nights significant in some way, or?
That's the number they throw out in the myth. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
And then it's around this time that Thrym's sister, who no one likes, comes in.
Oh my god.
And, in those days, it's traditional for the bride to be sent along with gifts for the new family. And Thrym's sister figured, if she's not getting anything else out of this, at least she's going to get her gift. And she sits down and she's like, so you're Freya, right?
Yes. Oh.
And she looks Freya up and down and she's like, personally, I don't see what the big deal is, but okay, here's the deal, Freya.
See these cheeks? These cheeks
if you
could cause world peace.
Here's the deal, Freya. If you want to be friends with me, and you do want to be friends with me, you better hand over some gold arm rings or something as a wedding gift. Because don't go thinking that just because you're going to be the queen around here that you're in charge. Okay?
Well, I've got these jewels that everybody knows about.
And then Thrym, to cut the awkwardness, turns to Loki and it's like, well, if she's so excited, then let's not wait. Bring out the sacred object that we will use to bless the bride. Bring out the hammer Mjolnir.
Yeah! Yes!
And then a servant hastened out with Mjolnir, and he knelt down and placed it in Thor's skirt-clad lap. And it started as a chuckle. It quickly grew into a manic cackle that soon gave way to a shaking, roaring laugh. While Thrym was dumbfounded that Freya, the embodiment of Old Norse femininity, had such a deep bass voice, Loki began inching his way toward the back of the room. Abruptly, the laughter ceased, and it was replaced with a sickening thud that echoed through the hall. Thor had torn aside his veil and thrown Mjolnir clean through Thrym's face. Bits of blood, brain, bone, and teeth are just raining down the hall. Then the screaming started. Women and children are running for the exit. Men are running for their weapons. None reach their goal. Thor crashes through this room like a force of nature, smashing and breaking. Bodies and furniture are flying in every direction, and it's over in minutes. Those unfortunate enough to still be alive moan as they are dragging their crushed limbs across the floor. That's when Thor walks back to the table where Thrym's sister sat, still stunned by the slaughter she had witnessed. And he asked her, "Do you still want your gift?" She's like, No, I don't need a gift.
No. I've got a gift for you.
And then Thor smashes her head like a watermelon.
I'm now picturing Thor being some sort of version of Gallagher.
Some version, yes.
Norse
He did a lot
Gallagher.
Yeah. So then Thor walks back to his cart and his goats, covered in blood and gore. Loki beside him, still in the shape of a maidservant, unstained by battle. And Loki says, "You know, Thor, that dress really does suit you." Thor throws the hammer straight past Loki's face, knocks out one of this hall's support beams, and the ceiling collapses just as Mjolnir returns to his palm.
Jesus.
And Thor's like, "Not another word." And that is the story of how Thor, Odin's son, recovers his hammer Mjolnir.
Got his groove back.
I was actually thinking of calling it that. So yeah, there's a couple of like embellishments, but in general, that's pretty much everything that happens in the poem. Thor literally in the poem he specifically kills Thrym and Thrym's sister.
What a dick, am I right? I hated her. Everyone knows what an asshole she is.
Quote unquote, cripples all of Thrym's relatives.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So Thor was indeed angry. But yeah, the whole wedding feast, Thor does not speak. He's just like sitting there eating. And he just keeps eating. And I have no, like, he eats all their, that's the funniest part about the story to me, is he eats all their food and then kills them. But yeah, that Loki's very helpful. He doesn't try to trick anyone. Heimdall definitely has the best plan ever.
Yeah. It ends in complete devastation of everyone who isn't their family.
Yeah, and that's usually how it goes. It's kind of a wonder that they ever took Vanir prisoners in the first place.
Well, I mean, Freya do be hot, am I right?
Freya do be hot. Yeah, that was another exciting adventure into Norse myth. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, why hasn't this been adapted yet? Come on.
You want this to be like Thor Thrymskvitha?
Yeah.
Where Chris Hemsworth has to see, the problem is Chris Hemsworth would look too good in a dress.
I mean,
you need a fat Thor.
We can ugly him up. I mean,
they tried to put him in that fat suit, and it just made him daddier.
We can get another Thor. Would it help if he had red hair? Would that do it for you?
No, there's a guy in a metal band that basically just does songs inspired by Norse myth. It's very nerdy, but I like it. It's called Brothers of Metal. He joked, he's a heavier guy, and he's like, "Oh yes, it's good to see that they used me for the model for Thor in the new God of War Ragnarok game." I don't know if you've seen Thor from that game.
No.
Wait,
I haven't. I remember everyone. The Thor Ragnarok game, you said. I remember there's like an Avengers game where everyone looks like the the stunt double version of the famous actors.
No, as I sent you a picture of
Oh.
Thor from the game God of War Ragnarok. That is a lot closer to what I picture Thor as being.
Is it because that's like closer to what you are? Like you could grow your hair out and you can grow your beard out. You could look like that then.
I have his belly area way too hairless.
You could shave.
I'm not shaving. I'd be like a dolphin, man.
You could wax it. There you go.
I'd have to. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to invest the time for nah. I could do that Thor cosplay though, yeah.
Yeah, you could rock that shit.
But yeah, so you got to imagine Thor's just some big beefy bro.
I do imagine that. That's the only way I imagine him.
A real Chad Dingleton.
Yes, I could see the resemblance.
Thor's drinking natty lights behind his dorm. With the bros.
He's drinking them by the 24 pack though.
But that's the thing everybody likes about Thor is that he could hang.
Hang and bang, right?
All the other gods, they treat humanity as just like this at best resource to be harvested. Whereas Thor is like, he just wants to hang out. He wants to drink their mead. He wants to eat their oxen. He wants to,
Fuck yeah.
kill somebody. I mean, preferably somebody bad, but like...
Yeah, we let the hammer sort it out.
Well, if you don't have anything else to discuss, I don't see a need to stretch it out anymore. I think it's a pretty good myth. I'd say the thing we did differently this time, let us know if it worked out. Let us know if this is a more fun way to take them in. If you're looking for a more like narrative, fun to read version of the Norse myths, check out Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology. I actually really enjoy that. And I am somewhat of a stickler for canon when it comes to mythology. I think it's important to be out there, but I also recognize it's super boring to just straight up read. So I do like when people do cool stuff with it. I like that Hades game quite a bit, actually. I wish that were a book, so I could cover it. We're bookmen, we can't cover it.
Yep, it's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
But fortunately for the people who hate this stuff, we're putting it away for a little while. Next week, we'll be back with Agatha Christie and a murder mystery.
Oh. Spoiler alert. It was everyone. Everyone's the criminal.
Capitalism made us criminals.
Oh my god. Hey, don't forget a shout out. You gonna shout people out?
Why don't you shout them out because I am losing my voice.
Oh my god. Ben! Alright. Alright. We have got a shout out. First to Brad, aka Isekai Sama Sensei. I'm not retaking that if I pronounced it wrong. Podcast is that time I got reincarnated in the same world as a podcaster.
Is an anime podcaster.
Fuck. God damn it. Alright. And then we have James from If You Want the Gravy fame. Do you want the gravy?
You do. You want that gravy.
Yeah, you do.
But if you want it, you better bring them fucking biscuits.
Want to support our show? We have a Patreon at patreon.com/WABpod. $2 gets you a bunch of bonus content. You get to vote on shit. Sorry, you get to vote on sweet, cool books. Actually, the Agatha Christie one was pretty great so far, but sometimes you also get to vote on the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants if you hate us, and especially Ben.
Yeah, well, I think, you know what? It was good content for us.
Yeah, it was. We've also got a Twitter at WABpod, an Instagram at WordsAboutBooksPod. Is that right? I don't know.
It's Words About Books podcast.
Okay, Words About Books podcast on Instagram. And then if for whatever reason, there's also a blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. And then we've also still got to buy me a coffee that we don't plug as hard, but, for whatever reason you want to give us money but not get sweet patron-related perks, there's that for you.
We've also got a Mastodon. I haven't given up yet. Glenn from Nuzzlehouse is dragging me across the finish line with Mastodon.
Dragging you down further into the depths either way, you know.
We joined the MastodonBooks.net, so that's
the Mastodon collective that
we're at WAB Pod at MastodonBooks.net.
Okay, all right.
If you are one of the other 5 people on Mastodon, hit me up.
Hell yeah. We'll create a tiny club.
I want a place where I can talk to people, but I never have to see what Elon Musk is doing.
Ooh. I feel like that's living the dream. And it's just that, Ben.
Well, like, you remember how Mark Zuckerberg used to be, like, the worst?
I mean, is he not still?
No, he is, but he shuts his goddamn mouth.
What about Tom from MySpace?
That guy was awesome.
I don't think he ever did anything or said anything.
Had a successful business. But no, like Mark Zuckerberg, I don't like him. He is a weird lizard man. But God, if he doesn't shut up. And God, if that doesn't just make him so much more likable. So yeah, I'm on Mastodon now. I was very lonely.